I
Special.
thought I was really special.
Thought you was out here doing
Was
it.
just multiple platforms. I was just blowing up the platforms, like not even fucking close.
I thought you was out here doing something special. You know, you was out here streaming to all your
Right.
fans. So you thought you went back and realized, man, you was streaming to yourself. That was you, yourself, and I.
That
That
was
is it.
it. It was so
Stop it,
embarrassing.
man.
Oh
No,
my
you know what? This is funny, right? Because like, okay, so at this point right now, like we are actually live, just FYI, right?
oh,
You
that's
know what I'm
funny.
saying? Yeah, yeah, really it is. And so this is actually kind of funny itself, right? Is that we could just go all audio and be ratchet on niggas. You know what I'm saying? Plausible deniability. People be trying to pull this shit up, be trying to claim that, man, you know what? Well, I
Oh
got
my
this audio recording. I'd be like, that was not me. That
oh
was
my
AI.
god.
I promise you that was AI. That was
But
not me.
but
Do you
but
know
this
how
thing,
good they are
Isaac,
with deep fakes
these
nowadays? It
pictures,
was
I know,
not
but
me.
these pictures look exactly like us. So I
Mhm.
think they would figure it out after a while.
No, we could still lie. We could still lie. Like all of this shit nowadays. Like you can totally use your audio or use
Oh
someone
my
else's
god.
audio and create like deep fakes.
Oh my
That is the
god.
stage that we live in right now where you literally have to question a lot. Now, I don't think that everybody's doing it, but I
Mm.
do think that we're going to get to a space soon where everybody's going to start using this as an excuse. They're
Oh,
gonna
agree.
start like anytime some dumb shit happens and we want to
I'd
hold
be
a
like,
celebrity
that
accountable,
was
they're gonna be
AI.
like, oh no, that was a deep fake. I guarantee you that's what they're about to do.
Like, no,
Watch.
that wasn't real. That was AI.
Man, that
I
totally
think I'm
wasn't
gonna
real.
try that.
You
I'm
know
gonna
that
try
wasn't
that.
me. Like,
Yeah.
man, why would I say that? Why would I say something like that?
And the funny thing is, people are gonna believe him too.
They're gonna believe him.
Gonna get
They
away
are
with
going to believe him. I know for a fact it's coming. Like, stop playing, man. Mm-mm. Okay, so listen,
Oh
because I got
yeah.
something that's on my mind, right? I
Okay.
literally just made a post about it probably an hour ago, right? Because I came straight from the group chat. So this
Oh goodness.
information is privileged, right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna hide names to protect the innocent. But
Oh
I'm
God.
sitting in the group chat, right? And
Hmm.
one of the homies is, we'll call him newly single, right? You know, he was
Okay.
in a long term relationship and you know they amicably split, but now he's found himself on the market, right?
Okay.
And while he does not consider himself a high value man, he would be classified as such. Okay.
All right.
So I say that to say that he's on the apps now,
Oh.
and he is the type that gets a lot of action not on the apps. So you add the apps to it, and
Oh, so he going ham. He's having a ball.
it's
It's
like
a
a
kid in a
firing
candy
squad.
store.
Oh
Oh
my
my God, you
god.
can't.
You know what I mean? It's
Oh my
like
God.
knocking down, what they call them,
Ah,
those swans. You know how you
yeah,
go
yeah.
to
Just
the
like do,
carnival
do,
and you just
do,
ping,
do.
ping,
Yeah.
ping,
Mm-hmm, yep. Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not difficult at
He's
all.
bagging him. He's bagging him. Okay. Okay.
So, you know, we're in the group chat and
Mhm.
we're just having casual conversation. And one of my homies was, you know, kind of keyed in. It was like, oh man, so you getting action like that? You know what I'm saying? And I was telling him, I was like, bro, I've been telling you, like, a lot of these dudes out here are kind of trash right now, man. So if you got any kind of swag, and so I mentioned, I was like, nigga, and you got hype. I was like, man, stop
Ah,
playing, right? So I
right.
just said that like on some just general knowing, like, you know, nigga, you like 6'4", 6'5". Yeah, it's generally a little easier for y'all as
Right.
it is.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
then you come into an environment where you know you're dealing with a lot of, you know, garbage that's out there. Now you really like the cleanup man.
Yes.
My homie responds back and he like, man, women gotta get a subscription in order to be able to see men's height. I said, nigga, what? He said,
No.
what?
You
They have
lying.
to, in order to
You are
see
lying.
that
No.
preference, in order
Don't
to see
believe
the
you.
height, you have
No
to
way.
have a subscription.
Are you
Man, when I
serious?
tell you that is diabolical, that is some of the most hilarious shit I have ever heard.
Wait, wait, wait. So this
Because
is,
it's
I mean,
brilliant. It is fucking
it is
brilliant. In order for women to see men's height on this particular dating website, they have to have a subscription.
cut it
You
out.
talk about an incentive, right? You know what I mean? And I'm
Look.
like, I just got all kinds of jokes in my head now because
Oh my God.
I'm like, okay, one, they know that that's important to certain people that are on this particular app, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Like
yes,
if height
yes,
is one of your main priorities,
yes.
you know, it's like, listen, I'll introduce you to all the men for free. All the personality for free. But it's gonna be a little bit of catfishing. They're gonna be height fishing, right? Because
Are
you
you?
gonna fall in love with somebody and they gonna walk into that restaurant and you're gonna
Oh
be
my
like, where the
god.
rest of this nigga at?
Oh
You know
my
what
god.
I'm
So this
saying?
is what it's like for real. This is seriously.
Yo, I think this is
I
hilarious.
know I've been off the
I think
scene
it's
for a
hilarious.
long time, but you've got to be kidding me.
I said, man, I was like,
Look,
what are they trying to say? Are they trying to say if YouTube broke to afford a subscription, then you can't, you know, you don't need to be that picky. YouTube broke to you can't afford being this picky is basically what they saying.
right. If
If
he's
you can't
shorty, he's a
afford
shorty,
the
he's a shorty.
subscription, YouTube broke to be picky. They like, girl, you better come and get what you can get. You know what I'm saying?
Now
You
you're
better
telling
roll
me
the
it's
dice.
just for height, or it's just for height, or
Yes.
is it also for
Now, it
salaries
may
and
be some other stuff also, but
okay.
I just think that that's funny that that's a
Oh, it's
preference that they would
brilliant.
not add up in there, right?
So they have the guy's picture, they have the name, and the height
You
is
can
like
communicate
a
with them.
question
So
mark.
they basically are saying, oh, you can figure this shit out on your own if you want to. You can send them a little bit, but like how wild would that be to just be like, you know, first couple of sentences in, hey, I'm curious, how tall are you?
That's exactly
Right.
what I would
I mean, and
do.
maybe that's what a woman would do, and they just kind of comfortable with it. But I'm just like that
Wow.
shit is savage. Okay, that is savage because essentially what they're trying to say. I mean, listen, I get it. It's fucked up, but it's brilliant at the same time across all levels. They're like, you got to pay to be prejudiced. Okay,
Look,
if
you
you
gotta
want to
pay
be
to
a
play.
hype
You gotta
bigot,
pay to play.
you got to pay a little bit more, right?
And I can
If you want to reject me
imagine,
because of my height, you
look,
need to pay to get that privilege. I
I can
think that is
imagine
incredible.
what that pot is. I can only imagine that is a lot of money in that subscription.
Oh,
I
without question.
promise you, I
If you
promise you,
serious, if
they
you're
have probably
serious about
made
wanting a date,
millions in the height category. And I'm so curious, like how much it goes from free to what? I'm curious
right, right.
how much it is to pay for.
How important is it for you to know how tall this nigga is? I just
I'm
everything about I was like, oh, the game is diabolical. And at what point did they figure that out? Because I guarantee you they were probably putting that height out there early. And
oh,
then they
absolutely.
probably realized, like, wait a minute. Like, I can imagine when
The
Jake came
survey
into the
and all that
meeting
kind of stuff.
with this bright idea. When they was like, all right, y'all, think outside of the box. We need a revenue generator. And then some smart short dude. It was a short dude. It
Yes,
was a short king
absolutely.
that came up
Absolutely.
with this. And he was
Absolutely it
just
was.
like,
Absolutely it was.
I fucking got it.
Yep.
And they was like, what? He was like, height. They gotta pay to know the height.
Oh,
And everybody was like it probably got rejected at first. And because they was
yeah.
probably like, absolutely not. No, that why wouldn't I tell the height? And he was like, exactly. Like it probably took some research. Like I want to know what the thinking was before they decided to hide that. Because I guarantee you, with some people, that's more important than the salary. That's more important than anything else. That might be
I'm
more
gonna
important than the age. You know
I
what
mean,
I'm saying? But
I
it's
have
something
multiple
that's so
things to
hidden.
this. I have multiple things to this. Number one, but how many guys lie about their height? So you got to pay for it, but then they still could be lying. So that's one. Number
That's kind of
two,
diabolical, though. I don't think that guys. Well, I mean, do guys lie about the height? Though?
absolutely they do.
Really?
When I was
Really?
in the scene, absolutely they lie about their
Knowing
height.
you gonna see me when we
Yes,
go somewhere.
you're gonna
I mean,
try
I
to
can see if you lie
charm.
like an inch or two. If you like 5'11" and you like I'm 6 feet or I'm
Right, right, right,
six
right.
one, you
No,
know what I
no, they
mean?
just
But
try to
like,
lie.
don't be 5'9" like me and be like, yeah, I'm 6'2". Like that. That is a level of like that's just you need your ass whipped. You do that. I'm put it out there. If
Telling
you
you that
send a
right now.
woman off like that, and she thinking she coming for five
Guys be
nine,
lying. They be lying about their height. Just like women
oh,
lie
that's
about their weight,
fascinating.
guys behind their lie about their height. And then number
Mm.
two, I'm going to have to say that you are correct. Height probably is way more important than salary because at the end of the day, if any of these women are trying to get married and have children, they probably want tall children, right? The taller. So yeah, they're probably like, yeah, no,
I'm gonna be honest. And when you said weight, I was like, ooh, I was like, that's good because yeah, sometimes women may embellish a little bit when it comes to the weight, but
absolutely.
nothing height is different from everything else. Height is different from money. Height is different from everything else. And you know why? Because I can be broke. I can go get me some money. I can be big. I can lose that weight. I can't get no taller than
You
I'm 30.
can't.
So, nigga, that shit is finite, okay? Height is finite. That's why I'm like, a nigga lying? Go ahead and lie about the money. If your credit is good and you just kind of want to hurt for a little bit, nigga, we all was lying about the money, okay? The whole
Oh
paying
my
for the first
God.
couple of dates was how much can I, you know, what kind
Appear
of
to
rules
have, right?
what kind of rules can I put on in these first couple of dates until I smash, right? And
Right.
make her
To
fall
make
in
it
love with me.
look like I
Right.
have a little cash. Right.
You know what I
Yeah. Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, unless you were dating a certain type of woman, she wasn't expecting like the whole conversation now is stupid, right? Because we just got into this whole space of where we have to, you know, discuss whether or not we'll be 50-50 or yada yada. Like none of this was a part of the discussion coming up. We knew
Not
that
at
the
all.
men was going to pay for the first couple of dates.
Absolutely.
And then there was normally on some level, if not an expectation, a lot of women, if they were making money, they knew that come that third, fourth or so date, you know,
That they
maybe
were
you do a
taking
little
him
something
out.
for him. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, and
Agreed.
then you all began to kind of share a little bit, regardless of if one person was carrying the majority of that weight. You know, you did acknowledge that, all right, I'm making some money too. And then once you all got into a relationship, then at that point, it really was about, you know, it was circumstantial, right? If you
Agreed.
got the high paying job, I'm decent, but mine ain't as high as yours. Then at the very least, maybe we go 50. Like all of this stuff was open to negotiation. You know what I'm saying? Like early
Yep.
on. So yeah, we was all faking it when it came to the financial aspect, man. I'ma
Yeah.
treat you like
Yeah.
a queen, okay?
Yes.
But nigga, after that third date, okay, that's why I need to be closing that deal by that third date, right? Because you know I used to go hard in the paint with it
Oh
too.
my
You know what I'm
God.
saying? I'm taking you to fancy restaurants and shit. I remember my girl Brittany used to say, what did she call it? She called it two paychecks. She said that as a woman, you had to know how to hold out for at least two pay periods. Because after two pay periods pass, you get to
Uh,
see how much of that was stunting and how much of that was really who that individual was. Because she
that is
she had it worked out. She was like,
hilarious.
"Oh no, you can fake the funk for a solid two pay periods, just knowing, all right, I'm pay rent a little late. Like I'm
Oh,
I'm a rob Peter to pay Paul a little bit, but
oh
there's
my
only
God.
so long you can run this charade before shit start getting cut off." So she was
That
like
is
two pay periods. Oh, I
hilarious.
thought it was hilarious too. But
That
I'm
is
just
hilarious.
fascinated by the fact that they are holding back the height,
That is
knowing
great.
that that is something that is probably like one of the largest factors that separates the wheat from the shaft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so them knowing how important that element was and them saying, no, we're just gonna withhold this.
Mhm.
Unless you got the balls to just ask a nigga straight out, like, hey man, how tall are you? You look kind of short in your pictures and shit. And I like to wear
Right.
heels. Is this gonna be a problem? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know, man. I thought that was, and maybe everybody knows this, right? Like, I've to be honest, I've never used the dating app, so I don't know anything about the culture, period. But there are some things though that I have, you know, just heard peripherally. You know what I'm saying?
So I
This one
did
has left me.
in the
I've
early
never
stages,
known this.
and yeah, it was very simple. It was a picture, your profile, which included height,
Mm-hmm.
salary,
Mm,
weight, everything was there. Like it was like a cattle call. Like
mm-hmm.
everything is there, and then a little blurb about yourself.
Right.
So yeah, and the only time that I think you really had to like pay was the ones like eHarmony and stuff, right? The ones who
Mm,
are like, we're matching you. Like I remember that profile took me like 2 hours to fill out because
mm.
it's like this whole psychological analysis of who you are with like it was a lot
Is
going on.
eHarmony still in the game? I
I
haven't
don't
heard
know.
from them in
I
a
don't
while.
know. I have no idea. I don't
Mm.
know.
If they
But
are, they've probably gone very boutique with it, right? And
yeah.
I only say that because it's like you probably have to really care in order to get that in depth. Because, like you said, it took you a minute to fill that out, and I
And it
feel
was
like,
extremely expensive.
oh shit, oh okay, so they really were about. But see,
Like
okay,
back
so
then.
I know a lot of women probably like stuff like that. What did the men look like in eHarmony
Okay, so
with
I'll tell
that
you this.
level of intention?
You didn't see any until you saw the ones they picked for you.
Mm,
I don't know how they do it now.
Okay.
But once you filled out that profile, they'd give you like, okay, these are the guys that we handpicked for you.
Mm.
So a lot of it was based on what you like,
Mhm.
what makes sense. So it wasn't like they were giving you some ooga boogs, you know, like it was like you were getting something
So
like,
they
oh,
kinda
okay,
knew a
yeah.
little bit of, like, what you would generally like, you know
They
what I'm saying?
did.
Uh,
They did. Almost to the
okay.
point it was kind of scary
Mm.
because it was perfect. It was too perfect, which
Mhm.
like, no, this person, no, doesn't, it just, you know how somebody can be perfect on paper, but there's just no
Mhm.
chemistry. And it was
Right.
almost too perfect. Like they weren't
Mm.
going for someone that you may fall for your opposite or you may fall for a
Oh,
bad boy or you,
okay.
no, it was
Okay.
exactly, probably exactly
Mm.
who you should be with, which
Okay.
made it not so fun.
Oh.
But I
Oh,
remember
oh,
back then.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So
Yeah.
because you okay, so oh, but you wanna know something though, if we gonna keep it a buck? That's in the name too, right? Like this site was really for people who were probably looking for companionship and alignment, right? Because we're talking about harmony. You see what I'm saying? As opposed
Right.
to chemistry. They weren't talking about chemistry. They were
Right.
talking about harmony. You know what I'm saying? So that had to
Yes.
be a very
Yes.
specific kind of individual that was
I
looking for
remember that.
that.
Like people that I was
Yeah.
dating on there, like, yeah, it made perfect sense.
Mhm.
But it just was like, I'm not
Mm.
excited. But yes, it made perfect sense.
Mm.
Now, maybe if I had dated people on there in my older years,
Okay.
maybe I would have been looking for harmony, right? But I was looking for like, yes, I'm in love, looking for something a little more exciting. And I was like, okay, I'm bored because this is too perfect.
Mm, That is such a fascinating thing, man. You know what? I might have to do a panel, man, with somebody that has been on all of these sites and just
Hmm.
really get kind of like a
Hmm.
rundown. You know what I'm saying? Because and I guess what I'm getting at is understanding the day and age that we're in right now. I keep hearing about this loneliness epidemic, right? And it makes you wonder. Like I almost want to go a little bit deeper in that because I hear loneliness epidemic, but we're all hyper connected from
Yeah.
texting to messaging to IMs to DMs to social media to Slack, like we're constantly communicating with someone. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so I just find that to be interesting sometimes, as it relates to uh what different people are ultimately looking for. You know what I'm saying? Because when you say loneliness epidemic, is this something that has been self-acknowledged? You know what I'm saying? Or is this someone else assessing that the root issue that people are dealing with is loneliness, right? Like are people aware of their loneliness, or is this just something that we've diagnosed them with? Like,
I
oh,
was
you're lonely.
So I asked the question of, okay, this diagnosis and this thought process, did it come because of COVID? Because were people even really paying attention to that prior to COVID?
Mm,
When now we really have the time to study, see what was going on, see how it was affecting people emotionally, between a little bit of everything. People were getting divorced. People were feeling very, extreme in being confined to their place and not being able to go out, and they had nobody to be confined with. There was like a big thing with that, right?
mm,
So did
mhm,
COVID bring it to light?
mm,
Because before that, I think we were just kind of living, being, I mean, again, obviously there was definitely people that were lonely. There was definitely people who had problem at all. But did we not pay attention to it till COVID?
right, right. That's a good question because I mean, this is something that I'm curious to know about. I would
Yeah.
say that that's actually a rather intuitive assessment because the studying of it may have began during, say, COVID, in a sense of just recognizing what the isolation, how it was affecting people. And
Right.
then maybe it grew into identifying that it's now kind of grown and metastasized into something different. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And now it's creating all of these other issues and stuff like that. That's actually a very intuitive assessment. To the point where I'm gonna have to actually do a little bit of research because it's making me wonder where it like who first coined that term loneliness epidemic because it had to have had a foundation somewhere. Like somebody started that
Hmm.
and they clearly took some sort of they started with a hypothesis and then drew from that. And I feel like we're all kind of like leaning on it. And it's really making me wonder. Now, I think it's valid. I think it's one of those things where it's like when you hear it and then you hear the diagnoses and then you're kind of seeing some of the stuff that we see in the world today, it becomes easiest to connect that dot and say, oh yeah, this is clearly a byproduct of a lot of these cats are lonely, thus that means that they're angry, and then we start making all kinds of other suppositions. And this may be something that we look up 3, 4, 5 years down the line and realize, nah, it actually wasn't loneliness that we were detecting, right? Like loneliness may have been a piece of it, but it wasn't really the foundation of what the issues are and ultimately what it is that we see. You see what I'm saying? And
Right,
so
right.
that's kind of interesting as I'm sitting here and I'm like thinking about it now and I'm just like, yeah, like as much as we call it the loneliness epidemic, like again, because if people are not self-diagnosing this, if they don't acknowledge that I am lonely, then pushing them and hooking them up with someone ain't gonna solve whatever the issue is, right? Because it's like you're actually lonely for a different reason. You see what I'm saying? And we can't
Hmm.
just look at the result and then say, oh, it's a loneliness epidemic. And it's like, nah, maybe it's an asshole epidemic. Maybe it's a trolling epidemic that has led to us not being able to communicate and not really enjoying one another's presence anymore. And then as a result, we know what loneliness and isolation creates in people. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is something that I'm a same way we did with that Lucius Anderson thing or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
actually
yeah.
go and do a little bit of research on this
Yeah,
and
I would
try to
love you to
see.
because I'm also
Yeah.
curious as if people didn't even know what that meant until COVID, right?
Mm,
That some people that were always out, um, and always in the public, always making sure they were out, and not even knowing that they could feel loneliness until
mm,
COVID, and
mm,
then now you're forced to be isolated, and so at that point, did they go ballistic? Like,
mm,
and it could be people that you know but don't know how they would be or feel put in
mhm,
that circumstance, right? So there could be people that are associates that we used to see out and about and kicking it.
mhm,
We don't know who they really are when they're home
mm,
alone and then forced to be. So maybe it was also an awakening of people that didn't know what loneliness really felt like or what that
mhm.
was until then. So I'd be very curious to see what year, that
Right.
name was created, and how, and from who. Like, what did we get this from? Where do we get that? Yeah, I'd be very
Mhm.
curious. Very
Because
curious.
and even though we're talking specifically about the loneliness epidemic, what's kind of interesting about this detour of acknowledging COVID is that is something that we have kind of swept under the rug and we really don't talk about much anymore. But it is fascinating to think about how many things that are occurring right now are a direct result of that experience.
I
I
promise there's
and
so
I think
much. Yes.
yeah, because it's one of those things where it's like when we finally came out of it and we attempted to find normalcy again, we were all different people. You see what I'm saying?
Very
And
much
some
so.
of us are very kind of pliable and we were able to bounce back and find some semblance of who we were before COVID. But I guess depending upon how COVID hit you, at what stage it affected you at and how it altered your just your being, your communication patterns, your relationships, your way of life. Everybody wasn't able to snap back from that. Like as wild as it sounds, COVID, I hate to say it this way, because I know so many people had a different type of experience, but COVID left me better than it found me. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
coming out of COVID, I was working out consistently. Coming out of COVID, I was cooking for myself. I don't go out and eat at restaurants. Like I developed a
Mhm.
lot of good habits. So it's like COVID forced me to pause the pace of my lifestyle, and it did alter me. But it was, I see it as a net gain because some of the things that it forced me to do was things that I needed to do. You know what I mean? And I
Mhm.
didn't resist it. So I actually leaned into the shift. I actually leaned, but that's who I am as an individual. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that's kind of one of my core strengths is improv. So I'm always able to take a situation and find the best out of that situation and try to extract the value. So I think for some individuals like me, some of us enjoyed that alone time. Some of us enjoyed the way that it stopped you from having to have a 2-hour commute and you got to work from home. And maybe your
Mhm.
job never shifted back because they realized, damn, these people are hella efficient working from the crib and it works. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for some people, they left COVID like, all right, well, shit, man, when the next one coming? You know what I'm saying? But the other people, from the conspiracy theories to the radicalization that was happening online because a lot of people are relying more on the internet, on social media, on virtual interactions as kind of being the bridge to real life interactions. And, Lord forbid you actually got a nice little following that became your primary method of communication. And so now going out and interacting with people, you never really felt the need for it again. You know what I'm saying? Or you never really felt the urgency that you felt in the past because TikTok is my new community, right? Like,
Mhm.
I wasn't that cool before, and now I've got 500,000 followers and I've got a voice. You know what I'm saying? And this is my way now. And so, these are things that we don't think about, like all the ways that a lot of people got radicalized and just shifted, and so now this new world that we are living in now is a direct result of those experiences. And I think, like I said, because of the fact that I bounced back, I'll come into a situation realizing like how fucking weird it may sound, when in reality I'm just not acknowledging like, nah, I that was a shuffling of the deck. You know what I'm saying? And we don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We're just looking at the new world, calling it weird, and it's like, nah, that shit was kind of traumatic
It
for a lot of
developed
people.
from that. It developed
Mhm.
from that, and it wasn't that long ago. I
Right,
think
right.
that that's the piece that I look. I'm like, wait, it's 2026, so COVID. Oh my god, and it lasted for such a long time. So
Yep.
when I think back, I'm like, okay, y'all, it wasn't that long ago. So whatever the side effects, if you will, that people are having or experiencing are very real right
Mm,
now. And I think because of the other chaos that's happening in the world, I think we're forgetting that possibly some of this chaos was birthed in COVID,
yep.
and mentally, physically, emotionally. I just think there's so much that we're forgetting about, or we're pushing down,
Mm,
and believe you me, it's going to come out. It's
mm,
whatever it is, whether it's an announcement of this COVID thing. It's it's just weird. It's just weird that we
mhm.
were living in a time where people were dying, and it was you didn't know what was going on. We didn't know if we
Right,
were going to live or die. We had no idea what was happening. We were walking around with masks and not wanting to go outside. We didn't know if it was airborne, and there was just
right.
so many things going on. Um, and now we're just acting like that didn't happen. Like we
Mm,
were not in. I just remember sitting in the living room, and we're watching numbers on the side right of the
mhm.
screen of deaths.
Right.
And it just kept the ticker just kept going up and up and up and up. Wait, what? So are we forget? Are we acting like that didn't
No,
exist? Like
Krishan, the
that was
most
crazy.
frustrating aspect about it is that we've gone beyond acting like it didn't exist. People, not only are people pretending like it didn't exist, they're acting like it wasn't real. And to me, that's the part that I always get frustrated about, and I don't even engage with people, right? Because of the
No,
fact that so many people politicized it, and
yeah,
because of just even understanding how radicalization works, you get people that get a little piece of information, and because they're already being radicalized and they're already a bit of a conspiracy theorist, and there's already so much distrust when it comes to government anyway, that now it's like I can't believe scientists. It's like you ain't got to believe the government, but when 99% of the healthcare professionals globally are saying the same shit, they're not getting it from one source. Y'all are going and listening to the 1% of crackpot doctors. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? The
Yep.
Dr. Oz's, the
Yep.
RFKs, and because it sounds good to you, all of y'all are people that don't like medicine as it is. All of you all are people that also don't eat healthy. All of you all are people that don't work out. All of you all are people that don't really believe in scientific things to begin with. I mean, when it comes to black men, how many of us don't even go to the doctor to get annual checkups, right? So,
Yeah.
of course, you're going to lean into content that tries to downplay the importance of what the healthcare professionals are actually saying. And that's why you would always find these people that would like resist the vaccination, but then they end up with COVID. And where's the first place they go? To the emergency room asking if a doctor can give them a shot. And it's like, nah, player, first off, it's too late, right? But
Mhm.
secondly, why are you in the emergency room asking if you can get some relief when you were one of the main proponents that was talking shit about it, that was talking about, natural remedies and things of that nature, and not to diss natural homeopathic things, because I do think that staying healthy and finding natural ways of curing things has value, but it's like you're not supposed to do that at the expense of people that have studied biology for their entire lives. You know what I'm saying? Just because you saw a cool ass YouTube video does not erase the millions of people, not nationally, but globally, that caught this. You know what I'm saying? This was some real shit. And this ain't the first time in history that we've seen a virus take hold. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, regardless of whether or not you agree 100% with the way that we went about, managing it, I can understand some arguments as it relates to that, but like I feel like the rabbit hole went so deep that people just outright deny it. They just outright deny
Yeah.
it right now. So it's like we can't even talk about the period and the mental health things that we may have
That's what I was
suffered
just about to
because
say.
just mentioning COVID, just the existence of it turns
Right.
into this all out debate with whether
Right.
or not you believe it was a real thing or whether or not you think it was a hoax. And it was like, bro, I have close friends that lost family members because
I
of it.
lost.
And not
I
because of
lost.
just the
Yep.
vaccine, because of the actual virus. So like this
Correct.
whole pretending like the shit wasn't real, again, it's like how we began and we talking about like AI, like we're living in a world where it's like reality is constantly being questioned. And that's frustrating when the shit was real, especially if you're someone that experienced it up front, whether you caught it or someone else that you love caught it and could not,
Hmm.
survive it. And then for us to sit up here and argue whether or not its existence is legitimate is like, okay, y'all, like,
Yeah, I remember.
where are we as a
I re-
society?
yeah, I remember seeing a segment where a nurse, an emergency nurse, um, got on and said that some of the patients that they were putting on the ventilators to the very end thought it was fake.
Mm,
Like to the very end, till
yep,
they died,
yep.
thought that this was not real. So, in taking something that extreme during that time and relating it to now in AI, where are we, right? Where even I'm trying to understand how reality is still gone when you're physically
Mm,
leaving this, or you're physically sick and suffering, and you still can't mentally process what's real from what's not real. That is baffling to me. Still to this day, seeing on social how people share and reshare things that are beyond fake, that and these are people that I find very intelligent, either I went to school with them
Mm,
or know
mm,
them socially to know that there's
mhm,
no way they're truly sharing this. And so I just wonder, is it just simply moving so fast in this society? You're moving so
mm,
fast and you're so ready to share something that's bad. It's normally a bad thing, right? It's normally tea. It's
mm,
normally somebody passing. It's normally, something ratchet and really, really bad. And it's like, okay, what news source are you looking at that's in your feed that you have this? Number one, there's no other news source that says this. There is no way in this god green earth I am sharing something on social, especially about something so crucial, like whether it's a celebrity or somebody passing or something political. There's no way in this world I'm hitting the share button without making sure I got it right. I mean, as little as I don't want to share something and I didn't spell someone's name right.
mm,
Right. I don't want to
mhm.
share something that I'm off by a day and wondering, did this just happen? I've seen people share somebody passing away, like a celebrity that literally passed away like 5 years ago, and they're
Mm.
sharing it like
Like
it's
it's
like
new.
like
Mhm,
it's new. And then you see people commenting under it, no, take this down. Like I think somebody did that with like Cicely Tyson.
mm.
They're like, no, she passed away like a long time ago. What are you doing? And then this is the crazy thing for me. I remember back in the day on social when somebody said, hey, this is incorrect, take this down. And the people actually took it down. They won't take it down
No,
now
especially if it's getting traction. Like
because you're
like
getting paid
if
for
it's
it.
getting
So,
but even if they're not. Okay, so remember when we had the whole conversation about the humiliation kink, right?
mhm,
Where it's like it goes a little bit beyond just the humiliation kink, but I think it's the desire for attention
attention.
and even connection, right? To even throw this back a little bit to the whole loneliness epidemic. I'll give you an example. So there was this gentleman on this, it's this Black Arizona group, right, that I'm in on Facebook. And they got all these kind of groups or whatever, but like, when I first kind of came down here and I just kind of wanted to know, like, all right, what's the culture doing? And let me see what's being promoted and stuff. These groups can be a good source of just kind of keeping your finger on the pulse, especially if you're in an area that doesn't necessarily have what you would consider a community or area where your culture congregates, because it doesn't. It's not that black people ain't down here, but it's not like how south side and west side, we out there in Chicago. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That you may see us a little bit everywhere, but definitely on the south and west side you're gonna find us there, right? We don't have that here. So when you're looking for something black, or you just want to, sometimes you want to see some niggas, as I put it, uh these groups can be a source of connection, right? So you're used to seeing all the normal stuff or whatever, either people being playful, or they're promoting their parties, or just whatever, right? But by and large, I would say that the tone of this group politically kind of looks like our voting percentages, right? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be mostly the 92%, probably. You're going to have a few that like to try to ruffle feathers, and
Mhm,
most of the men are still going to be what I would just call sensible. I don't even think it's
mhm.
about Democrat or Republican, right? But it's sensible versus nonsensible, because to
Right.
be clear, if you are MAGA, I think you are fucking ridiculous. I'm not even gonna go. I just don't. The shit don't connect. You could be
Mhm.
Republican all you want to. If you are a part of that cult, then that just means that you've been radicalized and you're just out there, right? So every once in a while, you'll have somebody that will hop in this thread that's on that shit. And the black MAGAs are a special breed of self-loathing. You know what I'm saying? So this guy comes in and he posts this random ass post from another black conservative or whatever. And the whole post, like if I read it for you, it just felt so over the top and just borderline argumentative and forced, right? So when I saw it, normally, you just scroll past the shit, right? But when I really, but I was surprised because I'm like, I normally keep my shit kind of curated. And so depending upon what platform I'm on, I know why the algorithm is showing it to me. If I'm on Threads, it's showing it to me because this nigga's getting roasted in the comment section. But on Facebook, I'm not really friends with people that's too much up into that shit. And if they start
Right.
polluting my news feed, I've already pruned them out, just because
Yeah.
it's there are times where I will openly allow dissenting views to filter into my space because I never want to operate in a silo, right?
Right.
Like I still like to know how the other side thinks, but that doesn't feel like the land of reality, and I believe it's a gaslight. So I'm not going to be gaslit by people that I know are just out here, right? All this shit that's happening, this war with Iran, the billions of dollars that were hemorrhaging daily. You know what I'm saying? Just like I can go down the laundry list. If you are going to come inside of a Black Arizona group and post something like this, I already know your only goal was to agitate people, right? Was to be argumentative. You wanted to piss some people off. You know what
You
I'm
want to
saying?
ruffle
So
some feathers for sure. Yeah.
you wanted to
Yeah.
ruffle
That's your
feathers,
whole
right?
point.
You want to
Yeah.
troll. So when I saw it, I'm like, why is this bullshit in my feed? And when I realized it came from this group, I didn't like what I felt was the intention behind it. So I just made a comment under where I was like, okay, we got about two more dumbass posts like this, and I'm gonna just block the whole group. Right? Like I'm just putting it out there. And I'm putting it out there hoping that the administrators will see this, like, hey,
Right. Take it
like
down. Hmm.
or not even just take it down. Like, hey, you see, dude, right here, he on
Right.
one, and that ain't
Right.
really even the vibe of the group. But if that's what y'all about to be on for some engagement shit, I'm a vocalize this first, just so that I can put people on note. And I started seeing people was liking my comment, like, which let me know, okay, yeah, this is still the general sentiment of how we feel. Well, the nigga that posted that, so he want to go back and forth with me or whatever, right? And so he tries to respond. He say what he say, and I'm responding back. And no matter what it is I say, he's trying his hardest to pull me into a debate. And my whole thing is, bro, I'm not. This isn't even worthy of a debate. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, was it a slow day on Fox News? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many other groups that you could have gone to. Why are you
And
trying
did
to
all that. Why are
agitate
you doing that here? Right.
and be a thorn in the paw of a lot of people that ain't on that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what provoked that?
Hmm.
All this other shit
Hmm.
that's happening in the world, and right now you like, let me go into this thread and have a debate about black Democrat liberals and guns. Like, it was so it was like nigga, you had to
Like,
dig
what are
into the
you
crates for this
doing?
bullshit. This
Right.
ain't even
Right.
like, I'd rather you go into some trans stuff if you want. Like
Hmm.
you grab some old shit. Oh, who's talking about guns right now, my nigga? Like,
Right. Right.
why are you even
Why are we
forcing this,
doing
bro?
this? Right.
Why are we doing this? And when I kid you not, no matter who commented on it, this dude was hitting you down with like it felt like his responses were getting longer and longer, right?
Oh
So I
my
started
God.
realizing like this nigga is suffering from some mental health shit, right? Like to the point where it's like I
Possibly
refuse
the
to the
loneliness.
loan. And I went to this page. It says single, and it was unfortunate because the dude looked like he was in his early 30s and attractive. It had some height on him. So I'm like, okay, you already look like you were fortunate on the look
Hmm.
side. You're young enough to where you should be out here winning, but you're single because you're a dick. You know what I'm saying?
Bingo.
So I can't
Bingo.
say, oh, he's suffering from the loneliness epidemic. No, he's a fucking troll and he's
It's
a dick. You know what I'm saying? That's why he can't bag nothing, because he's a punk. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we need to go beneath the loneliness epidemic, because it's like you are lonely as a result of all this other bullshit that's happening. Now, yes, the epidemic, we can call it, is loneliness, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? You know what I'm saying?
right. Was
Was it
he
like
was
dudes
he
couldn't
always
get
like
chick?
that? Or what? See, and that's what I question, right? Because when people fall down watching, what was that show on, I believe it was Netflix, about the social experiment or something like
Oh
that. It
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
dealt.
The documentary. Uh-huh.
Yes,
Yep. The social experiment. Yeah, that was good.
it
Hmm.
was brilliant. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, how did we know he was always like that?
Right.
In his,
Right.
like in his loneliness during COVID, did he fall down
Hmm.
a rabbit hole? And
Yep.
next thing you know, his, SEO and everything was just giving him more of this misinformation to make him believe
Hmm.
what he believes. Like, I questioned so many things during that time in
Mm.
how people were occupying their time,
Yep.
and how they became the anti. And was it just getting things that were thrown at them that they were just going to believe? It was like programming.
Mm.
I don't
Yep.
know.
Yep. I honestly, that's what I'm thinking. It probably was like, um, at some point he did get radicalized, and I feel
Mhm.
like radicalization happens a multitude of ways, right? It's like it's so easy to be ignored nowadays because of the fact that everybody is creating content. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can't even remember what it is, but it's a massive amount of posts that get made each day. It's in the tens of billions of posts that gets made
Of course.
on
Okay.
on each one of these platforms, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like not only is everybody fighting for a space and fighting for attention, but then you're also fighting with the niggas that's paying money to ensure
Right.
that it gets in
The
front of your face.
ads and
You see what I'm
yep.
saying?
Yep. Yep.
So I think that as a society, if we had gotten to a space or if we've gotten to a space where we are aggressively leaning into virtual interactions, right? And these platforms were trying to lure us in. So they was actually letting our content be seen. And
Mhm.
they gave us the initial dopamine highs of having a post go a little viral or ooh, and then your phone is going off. And in that moment, you feel good. I can imagine being the person that posts stuff and nobody is interacting with them. And maybe just because they either haven't found their tribe or just maybe they are kind of lame in that space. Like everybody's not good with the typing and shit, but if
Yeah.
you're not the type that can display your personality in a way that feels compelling, right? Then I can see how that ultimately makes a person say, I'm getting tired of being ignored, but every time you troll, you get a response. So,
Mhm.
regardless of whether or not it's a positive response or it's a love response, it's a
It's a
response.
response.
So, I much rather be hated than ignored. You see what I'm saying? It's like, and I think that that's where people go because we're in a attention, like attention is currency. So if nobody's listening to me and nobody's engaging with me, in essence, I'm broke. Like
Mhm.
in the currency of social media, I'm broke. But if you hate me, my numbers is popping, and I'm getting like the old dude that we talking about, the dancing nigga. That man has 6 million followers on TikTok, right? And every time you go to a website and you like,
Ah,
who do y'all want
people
to see
love to
go
hate
away?
him.
Everybody be
Uh,
like, oh man, that big nigga, man, with the shark bite. Talking about Big Groove. And it's like as much shit as we talk about, his videos are constantly going viral. We are
yeah.
all hate watching, right? And
Yeah.
he is thriving. So while somebody over here is being a gentleman, somebody over here is being whatever, they are being ignored. And being ignored is not a good thing, you know what I'm saying, in this space. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, yeah, man, that's fascinating. You know what I'm saying?
It
Just like
is
the world that we
fascinating
find
because
ourselves
I
in.
would never, and this is just my opinion, I would never become a buffoon. I would never become a buffoon just to get engagement. I think we lose ourselves in that. I think there's so much to it that I can't imagine someone that acts that way, and it's just not me. It's not me, and it's so this is just my opinion that at night, are you satisfied? Are you happy with your
Mm,
entertainment? And understand, I'm not talking about slapstick comedy. I'm
hmm.
separating that from just straight out buffoonery.
Right.
I do not find any. I'm not. I will never be the person to say, "Well, get that money,"
Mm,
just like
mm,
people that are morbidly obese going on social media, putting on bikinis
mm,
and showing their bodies. Mind you, you're a couple of cheeseburgers away from a heart attack. But then I see so many hundreds of people comment under it saying, get that money. You guys are making fun of her and blah, 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 but she's getting that money. Okay, well, correct me if I'm wrong. The OnlyFans CEO and maker just died. He was a multi-billionaire. I think he died with like what, $2.6 billion. So, and my point being, and it's unfortunate, I believe he passed away of cancer. And my whole point is you can't take money with you. So to make a comment that this person, this individual is actually killing themselves,
Mhm.
and then to say that get that money, girl, and then showing a side of them. And then I hear other people say, well, at least they're now showing on social media something that has always bugged them for years, that they were being made fun of for so many years in their lives. So this is their way of the get back by
Mm.
getting that money.
Hmm.
I'm baffled at that. And I
Mhm.
am still seriously connecting that to COVID, right?
Mm.
That lonely,
I can see that.
I seriously am. Is it that in your loneliness during that time period, and to your point, people were discovering themselves on social media and seeing these likes and getting paid and all that stuff?
Mhm.
Was it just like, what is going to have shock value? What is going to get me
Right.
seen? And they said to themselves, okay, I'm 450 pounds.
Mm.
Let me just show all my 450 pounds to the internet and get these likes and hate and
Mm.
let it spread. To me, that's the same thing as spreading misinformation. Let me just, I just,
You did not just say that a big girl, or not a big girl, but a morbidly obese girl out here trying to get her likes on is akin to spreading misinformation. That's actually that's creative. That's dicey, but that is creative though. You know what I'm saying? In
I
in
don't
in a
know.
sense of in a sense of are you really the happy person that you're projecting
That's
yourself
my
to be,
point.
right?
That
You
is
know what I
my
mean?
point.
Like not saying you can't be out here, you can't have a dope ass brand, but like, you know, you
I'm
out
not
here
saying,
really,
I'm telling you,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
lived that life. I've lived the life of being overweight. I've lived the life of being the only black kid. I've been in the isolation side. I've been
Mm,
there. I've been on that lonely side. I've been through it all. So it's, I'm not by all means knocking anybody, because just about all of it I can say, yep, went through it too.
mm,
So, but I am saying in that moment, I could never imagine saying to myself, you know what, I'm going to take everything that I don't like about myself or I've been made fun of as a kid. And I'm just going to just throw it out there and let people hate me even more or talk
mm.
about more. And, but I'm getting that money. Like,
Right,
what?
right.
No.
It's almost like at what cost? You know what
At
I'm
what
saying?
cost? At what
You know.
cost? So that's where I'm going to his buffoonery. I'm sorry. I just
Mm,
I tried. And yes, I understand the loving to hate side, seeing a train wreck.
mhm.
I get that. I am totally watching the train wreck still with Destination Smokehouse.
Uh, uh,
Totally watching that. I sent you
listen.
something too that you
Oh,
have to watch
really?
that
Oh,
was
okay. No, I haven't seen that.
absolutely
Wha
amazingly
d
hilarious, of him lying now. It's
Oh, really?
unbelievable.
Listen,
You have
he
to
is in
see what
full
I
on
sent you.
damage control. And what's wild
But he's
is
doing terrible with it.
oxtails is probably still fire, but I mean,
Probably. I heard they were
it's
great.
like people boycotting them like Target. It don't matter
For
if I
real.
like the establishment.
And at
I
first,
don't like the ownership.
I'll be honest, I wasn't sure if the videos that I was seeing of it being empty was real. Because some people were posting, oh yeah, of course it's empty at, it just opened at whatever 10:30 a.m. Nobody's getting, or they're showing you when it was closing, blah blah blah. Next, no,
Mm,
I saw a multitude of videos with it recently, during the
mm,
afternoon, during the time that they should be packed,
right.
and ghost town.
That
But
period when they normally had that line
yes,
that's
yes,
like
literally
way
the line
down
was
there.
outside, like
Mhm.
way around the corner, and because this
Yep.
is like, it's like a strip mall.
Right, right.
Um, yeah, no, like it is Deadsville. And man, if that is not the perfect scenario of,
Mm,
if you do bad, if you treat people a certain way and you lie and it, I mean, there's so many pieces to that, right? It's also the piece of he wanted fame, more than he wanted to be a good person. You wanted to be liked and accepted, and you were enjoying all of these viral moments on your social, but that trumped you actually treating an elderly man with respect. actually giving him his kudos, actually not letting a black man get his money. That was absolutely insane. And I just find it interesting how he is going so hard to redeem himself when, you know what? That's a blessing or curse of social media, right? We saw it. We saw it happen. We saw it happen in real time. You cannot take that back. You can't erase what you said, what you did. You cannot just you cannot not believe the evidence that we saw of the trademark. You can't make that go away. So at the end of the day, just be quiet. I look at his situation as to the shut up and play basketball.
Mm.
Shut up and run the restaurant. Chill out for a little bit. Take a social media break and just make try to make better food. Because I even heard the ribs. I mean, I told you I was following it way before tendonism.
Mm.
Like it that
You ain't
literally
heard that you ain't heard that the
he was
ribs then fell off though.
yeah, yeah. Cause no. So that whole like it falling off the bone, it was
Right.
cut.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
So, so things
I
like
was
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think
it's
that's
like
hilarious.
freaking hilarious. But no, you have so on our next episode we do, please watch the video I sent you because it takes a whole nother level of where he's at and what he's trying to do and the obsession of being accepted and liked on social media that he is
Probably
now.
because it felt so good. It was feeling
It's
good.
adrenaline. It's
Yeah,
adrenaline. And
yeah.
we definitely have to talk about that on a next episode of several people who
Well,
are getting adrenaline from social platforms when they should just shut up.
listen,
Shh.
listen. But you know, I can't let you go without asking what
Oh
you think
God.
about that Drewski skit.
Let me tell you. So just a little background on what I like. And you and I have
Oh my
talked about
goodness.
this before. I am a huge fan of sarcasm.
Mm-hmm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm was one of my favorite. Um, Black as Fuck was
Mm,
hilarious to me.
okay. Mm-hmm.
So I like sarcastic humor.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite comedians is definitely Dave Chappelle,
Okay.
with no question. So I like the edgy. I'm one of those people who will catch something sometimes before others. You know how some people are like chuckling a little before others, and people are
Mm-hmm.
like, wait, oh, got it now. No, I had it already. I had
Mm-hmm.
it already. So when the first seconds I saw that, and mind you, I will admit, I was not originally a Drewski fan
Okay.
because I didn't see what was the big deal. I was like, wait, I don't understand his humor. It was nothing that really, appealed to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I started really, really liking him during the preacher satire,
Okay.
the mega church. So that got me into him. So I'm like, okay, this is brilliant. I appreciate every second of it. Look, his timing, his I would say his acting, even
Mm-hmm.
more so than his comedic timing, is extremely impressive.
Yeah.
It gives me new Dave Chappelle skits. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's quite brilliant. So at the end of the day, I thought it was fantastic. It was beyond real. And you got to show on the next episode when we talk. I also believe I sent it to you. Candace Owen had her opinion on it.
Mm.
And that was quite interesting.
Oh,
What
oh,
she
but
said.
I mean, I'm not surprised by that, and only because Candace been going hard at Erica. Like that's like her mortal enemy. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I expected Candace to find this hands down hilarious, but I just want you to see this little video right here real quick. This is like 30 seconds, but I think you'll appreciate this.
Anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man, don't ever let anyone talk down to you. We need strong men out there.
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs.
when I tell you the fact that they are finding the actual clips, right, that he parodied, like what you're seeing is a couple of different things. You're not only seeing him really elevating into his creative genius space where he's
Genius.
becoming characters, you know, like and not I'm acting or I'm mocking, like he's really cosplaying. You know what I mean? Uh what I found hilarious about that was I found it to be incredibly bold. You know what I mean? Like everybody nowadays
Incredible.
is trying to get outrage, but they're getting outraged by being farce, by being outlandish, by being uh absurd, you know, sometimes even mean-spirited. You know, there's
Or just
always a
dead
lot of
wrong. Just
like
wrong.
and
Being
a lot
just
of
like,
punching down, you know,
yes,
like
yes.
it's easy to punch down. You see what I'm saying? It's always harder to punch up. Why are you talking about people that's got enough people dumping on them? You know, that was one of the biggest critiques that people had with Dave when he kept leaning on the trans stuff, right? It's like I understood in the onset that okay, I'm speaking about it because I don't like the idea that someone is attempting to uh censor me and telling me what I can and I can't make jokes about. So not only am I going to do these jokes, I'm going to continue to do it just so that you learn a lesson. So I understand it from that aspect of I've been doing this my entire life and everybody can get these jokes. And the more you all keep pushing back, the more I'm going to keep leaning in. I understood it from that part, but from the other part, it was just getting tired, where it was just like, all right, bro, just like let it pass. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a bit that no longer has useful value because not only has your point been made, but trans people have never really been that big of a factor to me. I don't see enough of them for me to be bothered by them. You know what I mean? Like they only represent like under 2 to 3% of people even identify as trans. And they probably got communities where there's more of them seeing one another. You seldom see them out in the wild to the point where you just like, God damn, it's a lot of trans people out here. You know what I mean? Like it's not a real issue. So when I look up and I feel like 40% of the content or outrage that I see online or politically has to do with a percentage of people that's less than 5%. It feels like the outrage is like it's not on par with their representation. You know what I'm
No, no.
saying?
Yeah.
Like it's like Somalians. Like why are we talking about how
Right.
mad we are at Somalians? Like we just overrun with Somalians now and Haitians. It ain't
Right.
even that many Haitians in this world. You see what I'm saying? There are 330 million people in America. It probably ain't a million Haitians. Why are we talking about them? Why are they always a target of, you know what I mean? Like anger. It's like it's so many other people we could be hating out here if we really wanted to throw some heat at somebody. Why are we
Right.
picking such a small, helpless group that is just kind of doing their own thing? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like I get frustrated when I see people taking easy cheese like that. It's like that's low hanging fruit. You know what I mean? Like after the
Mhm.
point was made, it's like, all right, man, it's time to move on from this because you only got an hour special. You don't need to be dedicating 15 minutes to trans people. You know what I mean? Like like now it's just getting weird and it just feels like like now you're just doing the Kendrick to Drake. Like, all right, nigga, we get it, man. You won, man. Like you on a world tour
You're
now. You know what I mean? I
winning.
don't even like the song no more. I get it.
That
He's
is
dead
funny. I
now. You
didn't
know what
take
I'm
it the
saying?
way you did, but I get it. I didn't take it that way. I really took the part that people I think missed when he made it very clear that that was his friend. And I think that's what people just discount. Like I'm like, did you guys not hear what he said? That
Yeah,
was his
no, I'm saying in one
friend.
episode, but in
Right, right,
three,
right.
like it was like three back-to-back specials where you're gonna
Okay,
keep
but
making,
okay,
and he
so
did it in a
devil's
new one, and
advocate.
it's to the
That
point where it's like, all
I thought
right,
that
like
new
we
one was
get it.
brilliant. I thought the new one
It's
was
brilliant,
brilliant.
but again, why do we keep coming back to this thing? You've already made your point. There's a
What are
million
you
things under
talking
the
about? When
sun
we
to talk
talking
about.
about the dancing buffoon, why do we keep coming back to
Exactly.
that? Because
Exactly.
it sells, right? Because it's
Exactly.
working, because people are
Exactly.
paying attention.
Well, no, but
So
see
I
that, and I also think people are scared. Like I'm saying, like Erica Kirk been out here. All of these people been out here. You see what I'm saying? And hip
Yep.
hop is supposed to be we fight the power. That's what fucking Public Enemy said. Fight the power. Trans people ain't got power. Why are we fighting them?
Why are we even doing
Why
that?
are we fighting them? I'm
Right.
getting tired of
Sticking.
watching people, especially when it comes to hip hop, especially when it comes to activism, and it's like we're distracted. You see what I'm saying? All of these comedians out here, I'm noticing more red pill comedians. I'm noticing more conservative comedians nowadays than us. We're the ones that control the culture. And every time I turn around, it's like everybody was so afraid of being canceled that they just kind of like leaned into this bro space. And it's like the shit don't even be funny. So I getting back to Drewski, I know that he put a target on his back when he did that. And he went
He did.
mega
He
viral
was
by
he knew what
aiming
he was
at the
doing.
people that actually are the problem. Like I'm
He
getting
knew
tired
what
of
he was
black people
doing.
talking about other black people and all the infighting. And it's like, it's a whole lot of other shit out here that we can be mad about. Going back to my man in this damn Facebook group thread. Why are you coming into this group? It ain't even that many niggas in Arizona. This is supposed to be an oasis. Why are you coming in here with the bullshit? There are other pages for that. There's political groups for that. There's all kind of right-wing spots for that. Why are you trying to contaminate the oasis with bullshit, right? And to your point, it's because I want the attention, because I don't want to be a small, pebble in a big pond. I want to come in here and create ripples. I want to disrupt y'all peace because I'm unhappy, right?
There you
So I
go.
need to give that to y'all. But Drewski can talk about anybody. But when I look at who he takes aim at, it's like, bro, you kind of doing some social commentary with this shit. We laughing, but you're doing the thing. And I look at his comments and I'm seeing all these fucking celebrities that's cracking up and giving him all of these props, and they ain't got the balls to do what he just did. That's why we need to be talking about him right now, because right now, Drewski got more balls than 99% of the industry. Because nobody's talking about Erica Kirk. And the shit's been absurd since the moment she came out dressed like a WWE superstar with the fucking flamers going on in the background a few days after her husband supposedly got assassinated. It's like, stop it. Like, this has been right. And the only other person that's been talking about it has been Candace Owens, right? So it's like Drewski stepped right into it, and we all cracking up because we like, all right, he's saying the quiet part with a bullhorn, and that man has been getting hundreds of millions of views over the last 48 hours. And he's getting a lot of love, but I know he's probably getting death threats. There's no
Oh, of
way
course
he's not
he is.
getting death
Oh,
threats.
of
No
course.
way.
But we're
No
we're
way.
talking a mega
No way.
millionaire at this point, who I'm sure is protected in the best way he can. But I don't.
Everybody's protected, but they are
Yeah.
afraid of ruffling the feathers of who
Yeah.
they consider to be their primary income source. I don't want to piss off conservative people because they're the ones that's buying the tickets to my concert. It's like nobody wants to sacrifice. So we're all watching this chaos, and people are afraid to say anything about it, because if I say anything about it, I get labeled as a liberal, and then I get put in this little space right here, and then I'm gonna get blackballed. And
But is
Drewski
it
is
more
showing.
so generational? Because I will say, because he's how old?
Possibly.
So he's in
Probably
his
like early 30s.
early
Probably like
30s, right?
32,
So I'm
33.
gonna blame this on us, meaning Generation X. I'm going to say that we talk about different political parties and what we're going to do and not do, and how we just suppress things, not say anything. That to me just puts me back in the era of like our work environments back in how we were taught, how our parents taught us to take it, stay at your job, stay as long as you can, and retire. Take the racism, take the the bullying, take all of it. So I look at it in a broad stroke of possibly a generational thing.
Take it.
Just like you just take it. At the end of the day, you get a paycheck, right? That's what I was told.
Right,
At the end of the
right,
day,
right.
your paycheck is going to come on time. So I think it's a generational thing. So I think as much as sometimes, and I'm talking about me, I'm not talking about you, as sometimes I question the younger generation and what they're on and do they stand for things.
Mm.
It's interesting to see that they're just more extreme, right? We were very middle of the road and we were very gray and we were always Switzerland. I
Hmm.
think in our generation, right? It
Well, not our hip hop. Our hip
not,
hop was very political.
but listen to what I'm saying though. But still, in our work environment, we did not fight the power. Still, in when it came to those record deals that were signed, there was no power fight. There was still the white man who was producing this. At the end of the day, the large company was what, Warner, and like all these like
Mhm.
stop. Like at the end of the day, we really weren't fighting the power. We were letting it out in music, sure. But were we really truly developing our own as much as this generation is my point, or the generation after us, the millennials even? I'm giving them kudos. They went for it. And yes, some may go left and some go right. But what I'm saying is I'm giving credit to Drewski for going the right way in opening up. And I still compare him to um, Richard Pryor, who would open his mouth and say things, to Dave Chappelle, who opened his mouth to say things. There's different generations of people who open their mouths on the comedic side to tell the truth. And
Mhm.
I appreciate him showing it without technically
Right. Right.
doing it. Like he's literally like the videos
They
used to
getting mad
show.
at him, and he is literally just using her words. Just like, yo, she
They're
said this.
right.
I'm not.
So
I
it's
didn't
not
come
like
up with this.
he's not
Yeah.
putting anything in anybody's mouth. So I want to give him kudos. Again, I was not a fan from the beginning because I
Mm.
just didn't. That just wasn't part of my generation.
Oh, he's reckless.
He could
He
be
got a
my
show.
son,
He
like
got a
so.
show. He
I
got a show right now that's like Flavor of Love, and
and
it
I've
it
seen
plays
little
out
excerpts
like
of it.
that. And it is,
Yes,
yeah. I be seeing some of the clips, and I'm like,
some of the
yeah,
clips.
he's in his bag right
This
now.
is his
He's in his
season.
golden
This is
era.
his
Yes,
season.
yes, yes.
It's
And I don't
and
know
again, I
how.
cannot explain. Like I've been in theater. I know all that. I know timing. I just want to say he is brilliant in his timing and his acting. It's brilliant. So I won't be surprised if he takes this to something bigger and greater
And it
in
makes you wonder
film.
what that would be. Like, I mean,
I
possibly
don't
film,
right film
right?
something because
Because
he's
it's
quite brilliant.
whatever it is going to have to be a huge bag. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
if it comes attached to a studio or a production
yeah.
company, you know what I'm saying? Because to your point, when you think about like millennials, but even probably more specifically, like I would say Gen Z, um, how much ownership they have the ability to garner now because of the fact that they went the route of building their own personal brand first. And so now they
Exactly.
can translate that attention into so many different areas, because it's like, in order for Drewski to sign a deal with someone, he's coming showing you, I've already owned the internet multiple times. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
He's got it. He's got it.
he might be in that space where he has to almost do his own thing, because
Yeah,
signing any kind of deal that's short of 100 upwards to $200 million, possibly even further north than that, would not be worth it.
totally
Him
agree.
him giving that up.
Totally
Like,
agree.
it would
Because he
have
could
to be
just do it
something
on
that's damn near
social,
half a
right?
bill. He could do it on
Yeah,
social. Like,
yeah,
I mean, YouTube alone, like, you got people like Mr. Beast that's a billionaire right now. You know what I'm saying? And he built his entire brand off of the back of YouTube. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And his own following that he's monetized. And so when someone comes in with these other ideas and they want to use your name and your like, now, I mean, he can do, deals with people. Yeah, like, I
Right,
see him
right.
on like T-Mobile and shit like that. And, he can get the bag that way. But when it comes to someone saying, I want to produce like a show or sign you to something, yeah, man, they gotta roll it out. They have to roll it
He
out,
could
because
be the
he's in
next
a in a
White
in a
Chicks.
special
There's
space.
just very, very special. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I have to give him kudos. I have to give him kudos.
So yeah.
I watched it several times too, and I'm just
Oh,
like,
that's fine. I mean,
okay,
we all have, right? Because,
like
and like I
that
said,
was brilliant. Yeah,
it's entertainment, but I think I just
it's
appreciate,
reality. It's truth. It's
and
truth and entertainment. It's truth.
it's truth. It's truth, and I'm saying it without saying it. It's such a savvy way of, you know, like I said, kind of throwing some rocks at the throne. You know what I'm saying? Letting people know, like, yo, I'm down here, and anybody can get it. Anybody
Mhm.
can get it, and
And
I'm
that's
not
what
afraid.
comedy
I
is.
love
That's
I
what
love the
comedy
fearless.
is.
Exactly, that's what comedy is. Because see, people, and that's essentially what I was trying to say a moment ago. Right? Is that real comedy is courageous, is bold, it's brave, and so there was a point where just cussing is how we would show our willingness to kind of push against the system, right? Like we would any kind of comedian that would openly, like, I mean, we would do the jokes or whatever, like, oh man, see, black people like this, but white people are like that. Like, there was a point in time where that was cutting edge. There was a point in time where that was considered bold. That was considered, almost combative, because you didn't know how your crowd, that in many cases was going to be mostly white, was going to receive it. You see what I'm saying? But then there's a point where it's like the moment that the absurd becomes normal, the moment that we've normalized absurdity, it's no longer edgy. You see what I'm saying? So now when you do it, it's like, nah, this ain't hitting the way it used to. And that's why sometimes even when you see certain comics they used to pop back in the 90s and they still be trying to tell them same jokes nowadays. And like, that's why they be like, man, you can't say nothing and you'll get canceled. It's like, no, nigga, you're not getting canceled. People just don't find that comedy funny anymore. And there's a difference, right? It's not edgy anymore because everybody's doing it. Every white guy with Chat GPT that wants to use the N-word can get people outraged by using shock tactics. Like, so now if you really want to do something, you got to aim at different targets and you got to use different mediums. And yeah, that's where Drewski is right now. And it's like everybody from every age group, we just got to look at it and just give that man a slow clap and acknowledge, like, okay, yeah, he's in his bag right now. He's in his bag because
Yeah,
he's
it's his
taking
season.
risks that nobody else is taking. And yeah, we'll see where
Yeah,
he continues
he
to
he
go with
may
it.
go down as probably one of the most interesting people of
Mm,
2026. He might
yep.
he's I'm sure going to be on a few covers. So,
Mm.
all right,
Well,
Steve, I'm
Chrishon,
about
you know what I'm
I'm about
saying?
done. I'm about done.
Listen, I don't want you to think that you just out here, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't got shit to do, you know what I'm saying? I already had this queued up. You know what I'm saying? You ain't the only
This
one
is
with some
great.
stuff to
Oh my
do,
God, you
okay?
are
Now I do
ridiculous.
know
You are
it's 8
ridiculous.
p.m. where you at, and it's only
Right, about to say
6:30 where I'm at.
that
Let
part.
me go
That
enjoy
part.
some of this weather where I'm at then. You
Yeah,
know what
well,
I'm
you
saying? Since it's
enjoy
80
that.
degrees outside.
I'm.
How
Oh
about
my God,
that?
shut up! And it's like 30
Hot.
here, so I'm gonna enjoy
Really?
my burger
30?
and 30. Yeah, it's terrible. I have my winter coat.
That's
Yeah,
so
I've
unfortunate.
enjoyed this wine and love. Deuces. Bye.
But